The Big Match on WLR.
With George Corbett Skoda.
Yeah, the scene is set. There was 2 trains left Limerick this morning. There was a helicopter left just after 1. It took 20 minutes to get down. The one and only JP is here. It took him longer to come down from Mount Sion, I think, than it took it to come from Adair. But he's here. They're all here. But regardless of support, it's the men on the field, Fergal. Waterford are up for it. We need a performance.
Yeah, and looks, Kieran, as I said, we're actually playing with the breeze. I don't know whether we won the toss or not, but we're playing with the breeze. And look, I think straight from the outset, I think Stephen O'Keefe, we have a big half forward line there, and the 3 boys, and I think they'll just go long from the very start.
So ball is in. Fergal Horgal throws in the ball. Waterford playing with the wind in the first half. They're playing from left to right. Ball down into the corner. Limerick on the attack down the dressing room corner. Peter Casey, one of 3 sets of brothers on the team, takes his shot, and that's gone left and wide. Let off for Waterford, but Casey got out there very quick, took the shot over the bar, left or over his shoulder, left and wide.
Yeah, it's trademark Limerick, leaving the space inside, playing it into the corners and taking on your man.
Long puck out by Stephen O'Keefe, almost the length of Welsh Park. Ball breaks down. Bennett goes out to Austin Leeson now out near the corner, swings the ball across. Austin takes his shot. That's gone over the bar. Or was it Bennett? Yeah, it was Bennett in the end, went out there. Really did well there to run out towards the corner. It's over his shoulder, over the bar. Opening score for Bennett and Waterford. Puck out for Limerick, down here in front of the stand. Very tight pitch here, the sideline in a good bit. Health and safety regulations here. The ball goes over the line. Tyke de Burka wearing that red helmet, the Clash Mormon all-star, former young hurler of the year as well. But it's a line ball to the Limerick men. Down under us, Garrod Hagerty comes across to take it. The Moon Tour, his dad, of course, the great Ger Hagerty, centre back in the 90s, but now we're in 2019, and Garrod keeps up to tradition. Ball just breaks now to Keane Lynch, hurler of the year last year, puts in around the danger zone. Who's back to cover? It's the Abbey side man, Conor Prunty, wearing the 3 shirt, gets it away to Calum Lyons, as he is known as, in the Ballyduff area, sends the ball long, but only cut off inside by the big man Declan Hannon, the captain, the man who listed the cup last year. Ball in fight to Keane Lynch, half blocked down. Ball breaks out. Waterford win possession. Good play by Lyons. Hand pass the ball straight into Tom Morrissey, the UL student, looking for support. He has it in Lynch. Lynch gets it back to Hagerty. Hagerty pressurised by the Waterford defence, and out comes Tyke de Burka. Great catch by Tyke. Gets the ball away to Stephen Bennett. Good play by Bennett. Treads on, looking for Tommy the speed merchant. That's down around the halfway line. Must be foul. Yes, says the referee. Great bit of play. Great to see Stephen Bennett got a score at one end, was back to help de Burka, fed it through. In the end, Tommy is fouled. Great to see Tommy out in front of his man.
Yeah, and brilliant to see the work rate and the attitude of the players already, Kieran. Garrod Hagerty had a ball, 4 Waterford men surround him, forced an error. Ball turned over. Tyke de Burka gets a ball, gets a good ball out, and to Stephen Bennett, who tracked back to field to chase down a man as well. So great start for Waterford. Interesting, the first puck at exactly what we said. Sock went all the way along, right down on top of Stephen Bennett, and we got a score from it. I think that's the thing. Put him under pressure. Okay, the short puckers are required at times, so let's get that ball right into the danger zone and put him under pressure early on.
Your clubman has the free. It's 2 minutes in from the far sideline. Pádraig Mahoney, he's done it for club, he's done it for county. Now he is a free, 2 metres in, wind assisted, over on the far bank, hitting into the town goal here, the city goal here, but has he turned it? He has, and struck it beautifully. Over the bar it goes. That's the start we needed. 2 points, no score. Good score, Pádraig Mahoney.
Yeah, that's exactly what we needed, Kieran. And we need to build on this now for the next 10 minutes, try and consolidate, get another 2 or 3 points on the score, but ask real questions of Limerick from here.
Ball puck out, bit of toing and throwing as the ball drops. First to pick up the breaking ball, Mikey Carney. He'll go on one of his runs. He's going on one of his runs. Was he fouled? Did he overcarry? Overcarry, says Fergal Horgan. Very critically with that always is referee Horgan. Pat took on his marker, but too many steps, free out, relief for Limerick.
Yeah, they had a chance to get that ball inside. Okay, we have Morris and we have Tommy Ryan inside. Chance to get a quick ball inside, but carried it, and unfortunately we got overturned.
Free are taken quickly by centre back Declan Hannon, the captain. Puts it out over the sideline, down the dressing room corner, down the tunnel corner, let off for Waterford. This is a very tight pitch, and like Limerick haven't been here for a long while, and they'll take a while to get used to this.
Yeah, and they're trying to play those balls into the corner. That's their trademark, to keep their full forward line in tight in around the square, and they try and play the balls into the corners. But this is a much tighter pitch, as we say.
Line ball for Waterford, in around the middle of the field. Who's first to react to it? Good play inside for Waterford. Mikey Carney swings the ball here to Dara Fies. First touch in championship hurling over 12 months. He's gone for a long one, but it's gone left. First wide for Waterford. Good to see Dara get in the action earlier. We played 4 minutes, 2 points, no score. Limerick take a quick from the puck out. Ball out to the middle. Willie O'Donoghue in his second championship appearance for the Limerick men. 6'7", the big man in the middle of the field. And a Piershick man sends it down into the corner. That's the stand corner. Graham Mulcahy comes across, so too is Caleb Lyons. Prunty is there, keeping a tight rein on Mulcahy as well as the ball goes out over the line. That's good play by the Waterford defence. Jimmy Byrne helping as well in defence, and the 6'5" Prunty there stood up his marker well. Good defensive play, line ball Limerick.
Yeah, great stuff. And Kieran, look, I'm noticing a lot of aggression from the Waterford players. They're coming in even a little bit late, but there's no harm in that. That's what we need. We need Waterford players really getting in the face of these Limerick players today, playing on the edge. Exactly, that's where we need to be. And in fairness, that's what we're seeing so far.
Line ball. Garrod Haggerty looking for options, hasn't too many. There's white shirts everywhere he looks. Was that pushing the back? But play on, says the referee. Jamie Byrne goes in to try and assist, very close to the sideline. Keane Lynch comes in and snips it up, sends the ball across beautifully. Good chance inside now for Willie O'Donoghue. Willie O'Donoghue tries to place the ball in. Covering back well as Dara Fies, well read by the Turin man. Should give it to the captain, but instead he looks for another option. Takes the wrong option there. Was he fouled? A bit of overplay there by Dara there. Yeah, he had an option. Noel gave him one option. The goalie was played back, but tried to turn it. I was lucky there for it.
But Sock came off his line looking for the pass, and maybe that's a dangerous game to be playing. It's a great ball by Sock from the resulting free though.
Ball goes long. Look for Morris, taps it down. A chance here for Waterford. Can we get the score that we badly needed? Yes, we can. That was badly needed there, but what could have been a score for Limerick at the other end, it could have been a green flag. Ended up a score for Waterford. We needed that. We got that free. Well done, Pádraig Mahoney. So 3 points, no score, 5 minutes gone. You're listening to George Corbett scored a big match live here on WLR. The All-Ireland champions have come to town, and so have half of the stadium here in Walsh Park. Waterford win the ball. Tommy Ryan opens the shoulders from the sideline, but is turning right and turning wide. Went for literally from the halfway line, standing on the sideline in hope more than anything else. But we have the win, we must take advantage.
Yeah, and that's the one thing we need to be a little bit careful of, Kieran, is just the hitting hopes. That's one from Tommy, maybe one from Dara as well. Maybe sometimes better off just go a little bit shorter.
Looked out here brilliantly by Garrod Haggerty. One of those tall men on that Limerick team. They bred him big in Limerick. They're renowned for their rugby players, and Haggerty wouldn't be a miss up in Thomond Park in the back row. Fine, big, rangy young
he's
lad.
A monster of a man. I actually knew his father very well. I kind of hurled against him, and I was on the Fitzgibbon that he managed. Took no prisoners. He took no prisoners, but he's a monster of a man, and he's a target man for their Perkins, and that's going to work for them all day. In fairness to Moran, he's up against it, trying to catch him against a man like Garrod Haggerty. But going back to that incident earlier on, Sock him off his line. Dara Fives got hooked, goal open, and in fairness, we won a free, and if that free hadn't been won, I think it was a goal for Limerick.
So Galan, the Mary I star, of course, sent off in the Munster Championship last year against Cork, scored 9 points against Cork in the opener. Taking his time with this one, a bit like Ronan O'Gara up in Thomond Park, where they train very close to, but he strikes it, sends it over the bar. The opening score for Limerick, the 7 minutes gone, is 3 points to 1, but there's a gale force win for favouring Waterford.
They're playing a sweeper, and they've Richie English sitting right back, so the two boys inside are going to be under severe pressure with a man, and there he is, the sweeper's going to pick this one up.
Ball goes long towards Morris there, in a battle with Mike Casey. Of course, the two Caseys, Mike and Pete Casey involved, Dan and Tom Morrissey. They have the brother sets. From a Waterford point of view, they have 3 lads on the team who have brothers in the substitutes, but we've no brothers normally. They're lining up, of course. Philip Mahoney, we send our speedy recovery to Philip. Spoke to him earlier. He has that leg injury, but he hopes to be back in weeks rather than months. Line ball over on the far side, 3 points to 1, 7.5 minutes gone in glorious sunshine here in Walsh Park in Waterford City. Down under us is Larry Guinan. I spotted him earlier. He was here the last day. The man who was on the team that won 60 years ago. Hard to believe it. Jack Prendergast gets that ball over the shoulder, has a look and sends it over the bar. The Lazur man is on target again. Played brilliant the last day and started off brilliant again this evening.
Yeah, it's great to see a young player like Jack Prendergast get on an early ball and get a point. That'll do no end of good for his confidence.
And definitely he's a man growing in confidence. Long puck out, drop inside the 65. Kevin Moran picks it up. Just dropped it there as he went for it. Just fumbled a little, and in the end, lucky that it goes out over the line. Could have been a lot worse there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Has the referee blown for a free or a sideline ball? But Kevin's touch just has been off now. Again, the last day a little bit, and maybe today again. That's a ball he should have got in his hand and maybe had the ball cleared.
So Kevin and Moon Tour, we've a half backline of Moon Tours with Dara tied to Burka and Kevin Moran, but we've one man coming out to take this free.
Yeah, he's given the free.
Yeah, the Mary I man won a Fitzgibbon with Mary I last year and really stormed onto the scene, and brilliant last year for the Limerick men. Sent off against Cork, as I mentioned earlier, but this man's eye is in. 9 points the last day, 8 were from frees. It's a metre in, it's about 55 metres on. The Waterford support getting annoyed with him. He's just overdoing it with the build-up. I think referee Horgan has asked him to speed it up. He's not helping himself there as the crowd start to cheer, but he keeps the concentration, sends it over the bar. He answers the crowd there, but it's a bit annoying, frustrating. Goes over the bar, 4 points to
I
2.
think Fergal Horgan's going to have to mark that, because I mean he is really killing time there. That took 30 seconds to take, which is way too
They
long.
have the win, and obviously there's instructions from John Kiley, the manager, waste what time he can in the first half. The big man Willie O'Donoghue, the Piercic man, defeated of course by Ballygunner in that Munster Club final this year, but now it's all about Limerick for them. They're on the attack, just inside the Waterford 65. Bit of stalemate here. The pitch looks absolutely brilliant in the beautiful stripes by Waterford Landscapes. As the ball break to Jack Prendergast. Jack has the ball, gets the ball back inside to Carney. Carney sends the ball in towards Morris. Hits the deck there. Was he foul play on, says the referee. Bursting out with the ball is Hannon, the centre back. He sends it long. He's looking for the corner man. That's Peter Casey, one of the small men on the field. Beaten to it inside by Caleb Lyons. Gets it to Prunty. Leaves it for Austin Gleeson. Austin Gleeson coming up the far side. Gets it to Morris, who's come well out to win that ball. The big Lismore man coming forward. Oh, tries to strike it there, but half blocked down. Ball goes straight into the hand of Mike Casey. Then the Piercic man gets it out towards the middle of the field. They're on the attack. Tadhg de Burka cuts it off. Tadhg de Burka on his 45. He could score for a long one. He's capable of getting a long one. Has he got it? Has he the distance? He has the distance, but unfortunately it's left and wide.
Yeah, and look at he hadn't too many options inside, and that is the problem. We're dragging players out the field, and Limerick are left for 2 or 3 players inside, and they're the best team in the country at working that ball through the line, so we need to be very careful on this one.
John Kiley's hands and hip. He's the manager. Brought him to a 45-year wait last year when he brought the McCarthy Cup home to Limerick, wanting to do the same this year. They're on the attack. Down into the corner it goes. Noel Connors does well. Down the dressing room corner, the tunnel corner. Gets it back to Stephen O'Keefe, the all-star goalie. Sends it long, dropping near the 45. Who comes out for it? It's a Limerick man. That Limerick man is Casey. He's done well in this opening period, busting out to the middle of the field, likes to come forward. He has options outside him. One of them is Willie O'Donoghue. Willie O'Donoghue tries to offload to Kyle Hayes. The 6'7" man from Kildimo, Palace Kenry, is coming through. Shot is the grip. Over the bar it goes. The youngest on the Limerick team that won the All-Ireland, playing like an experienced veteran. He won that ball, had one thing on his mind. Over the bar it goes. It's back to 1 point game. Waterford 4, Limerick 3.
And that all came though from a high ball between Morris and Morris and Mike Casey. Morris has a foot on Mike Casey. He should be winning those balls. Mike Casey came out and set up an overlap and all the way through for a point.
The wind is absolutely blowing down from left to right. Waterford go short with this. Waterford have the advantage of the wind, and let's make it tell. Austin Gleeson, bit of overplay by Ozzy, plays it back in the end to Stephen O'Keefe at the goal on our left. Gets the ball out as far as Tadhg de Burka. He's going long. He was wide with the last one, and he's wide with this one. 4th wide for Waterford, 1 wide for Limerick. It's 4-3.
But fourth wide, all coming from inside our own 65, so we're, in fairness, we have a strong breeze, and in fairness as well, there are probably not too many options inside to give it, because Limerick have that extra man, but we're going for the long ones. They're kind of a hit and hope at time, although that one probably was on from Tadhg, but we just need to be careful that we're not driving balls from 80 yards wide when we need to be maybe working that ball a little bit more into a better scoring position and making sure of our score.
Hold up and play. I think it's Caleb Lyons, and of course Caleb's sister Ciara was the lucky winner of the TQS. I see Maura Quilty down here, our county sponsors, and they're flying home from a competition. Ciara and a friend next weekend to the game up in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. At this stage, hello, also out in Toronto, we have Jim Ryan's daughter who's out in Toronto. I asked to say hello to her out there in Toronto, and I know she listens to all our games, and also to Alice O'Connor, the great Waterford supporter, normally here at the games. She's back from hospital, but she's tuned in this afternoon. Great to have Alice back at home in Sexton Street and Abbeyside, but she'd love to be here, but hopefully she'll be at the bigger games later this year. Mike Casey has the ball for the Limerick men. Down into the corner it goes, looking for Aaron Galland there, but down near the corner. Mulcahy's gone out there as well. Mulcahy and Casey, they're small in stature, but they're busy players. As they get the ball, they try to move it around, and the ball is gone right and wide. Let up for Waterford there, 4 wides to 2. Score remains 4-3, 13 minutes gone.
Yeah, and that's exactly how Limerick worked that ball again into the corner. That's when Galland would normally put over.
So puck out is long, length of Walsh Park, bounces and pops into the goal of Nicky Quaid there, the goalie. His dad Tommy was one of the great All-Stars. His brother Joe, All-Star as well. Quaid stepped in tradition as Tadhg de Burka goes to the ball near the 45 there. Just didn't get on the first attempt, didn't control it, was looking where he placed it, but he didn't get the ball in his hand and fumbled it out over the line ball to the Limerick men there, and just didn't get in the first touch. Yeah,
and it's so untypical of Tadhg de Burka, because he's the player who almost never makes a mistake, but he's probably had a little bit of time, even though Graham Mackay was closing him down, and he was probably looking away. He was going to hit the ball before he hit the ball in his hand.
So now Waterford have the ball. Jamie Byrne flicks the ball inside, gets it to Kevin Moran. two experienced players, two all-stars for the Waterford team, just hoping we'll get more from. But Kevin there playing ball into the corner, overplayed it with Garrod Hegarty there, very dangerous play by last year's captain there, just overplayed it, and really Waterford at times have been kind of hampered by that overplay in defence.
Yeah, and sometimes the architects of their own downfall in terms of overplaying possession. That was, I don't know what sure Kevin was at there.
Pádraig Manny tries to drill in the ball, looking for Morris there, but Morris behind his marker tries to come out and win that ball, does well to flick it away from very close to the sideline, wearing that red helmet, easy to distinguish. Commentators dreaming to see a helmet like that as Morris's foul there. It's easy to spot Morris Shanahan anyway, but foul there. But Morris did well there. He was behind his man for the ball, but kept the pressure on, won the ball, won a free. Well played, Morris Shanahan.
Yeah, Morris did absolutely superb because it was a 2-on-1 situation. He played for the free, he won it. And in fairness, it was a genuine free, but that is the danger. I said they have two men inside. Pádraig played what ordinarily you think is probably a good ball in, but when you're playing into a 2-on-1 situation, obviously, you know, that's a back's ball. Morris did superbly well.
4 points to 3, 20 metres out. Over on the far bank, about 3 metres in from the sideline, difficult angle. Pádraig Manny, a chance to stretch the lead, takes his time, sends it over the bar. Grandad Pat Sullivan looking at the veranda down from heaven will be happy with that one.
If you look at the shape here, Kim, we're just saying everybody's in central, they're leaving all the space in the wings, and that's what they do. They work the ball through the lines and then they play the space of the wings. It's very hard to defend against when they get it right.
Like a straight spine up the middle. There's the ball from the puck out, goes high. Kevin Moore tries to knock it down. Ball breaks into Willie O'Donoghue. He's been industrious. O'Donoghue flicks the ball onto the big man Hegarty. Hegarty in space. Goal on here for the Limerick men. What can he do? Steps inside his marker. Did he overplay it? Did he play for a free? And he sticks it in the back of the net. But was there an overplay there, Fergal?
Well, that's it. I think even the Limerick, everybody seemed to stop thinking that there was a free coming, and there was no free coming. And I think it was, certainly the finish and everything. The hand pass off was a good hand pass, but there was an expectation that Garrod Hegarty did overplay. Everyone seemed to stand up a little bit. So not sure exactly what happened there, but the goal is given, and
a sickener for Waterford there.
Huge hammer blow for Waterford, absolutely.
Huge hammer blow is right, because everyone seemed to stand up, assume that it was a free. The big man, when he goes on a run, he's hard to stop. We mentioned him earlier, son of the great Ger, but he went on a run and really unstoppable. And the Waterford defence just seemed to stand up.
Yeah, and you can't do that, Kieran. You have to play right till the whistle. Even if the whistle's paid, you have to keep playing.
So signal for Waterford, 1-3 to 5 points. Limerick go 1 up. They've been trailing right throughout this game. Now they win it. Paddy O'Loughlin, the big man from Kilmallock, the 20-year-old that got starred with UCC this year in the Fitzgibbon, plays the ball down into the corner. Limerick now with their tails up. Graham Mulcahy, one of the elder statesmen. Would you believe it's his birthday today, but he's not worried about celebrating till later this evening. Kevin Moore scoops the ball back to, dangerous play again, back to Stephen O'Keefe. They're not quite sure what some of these movements are. We're really putting pressure on ourselves. We have the win behind us, but we're scooping the ball back and just a bit of overplay in defence. Limerick win possession. Graham Mulcahy swings the call dangerously and cross over to the far side. Who's back to help? Back comes Pádraig Manny down into the left hand corner. That's good play by the Waterford defence. What can they do with this one? They have the ball, but what can they do with it? Ball played in towards Tommy Ryan, towards Jamie Barron. Jamie comes from nowhere there and gets ahead of his marker, but unfortunately a bit of overplay. Away come the men from Limerick. 1-3 to 5 points. That crucial goal from Keane Lynch after brilliant work by Garrod Hegarty has set the difference here of a 1 point. 17 and a half minutes. Limerick dispossess again. Lynch comes back and win it. Keane Lynch, big favourite with the Waterford support, of course, nephew of the great Kieran Carey. Ball goes inside to Gillan, threads the ball through to Mulcahy. Gillan and Mulcahy, a frightening front combination. They have possession again. Mulcahy has it this time. The experience of Mulcahy, an all-star last year, gets it to the big man Hegarty, does well to win that ball from a difficult position, offloads again to the man off his shoulder. Lynch is coming through again at pace. Was he fouled? Yes, says the referee there, but time on time again, Garrod Hegarty's the tar man. He holds it up, coming off his shoulder is Lynch, as he was for the goal, and now he wins a simple free.
Yeah, and possibly suspicion of overcarrying there by Keane Lynch, but look, Kieran, you'd have to say Limerick are absolute masters at working that ball around. You're in really tight spaces. They don't need, in some teams need lots of space to work that ball through lines, or work that ball from player to player. They don't need that space, and in fairness, they work that score very well. Probably the combination of 7 or 8 passes and simple tap over point now for Aaron Gillan.
So Gillan should have no problem with this here as he hits it into the Keane's road end, makes no mistake, sends it over the bar, third point, but stretches the lead to 2. It's 1-4 to 5.
We got off to a great start, exactly what we needed. We're playing with the breeze and we're 2 points down, which is worrying with 19 minutes gone.
So Gillan, of course, won that Fitzgibbon and really came on the scene in 2017 as an under 21 and a real force in the Limerick full forward line. Bit of overplay by Waterford again. Ball breaks. In comes Aaron Gillan, gets it back to Keane Lynch, who likes to come forward at every chance. Sends the ball inside to the corner forward. That corner forward is Peter Casey, and the Piershick man sends it over the bar. You saw him playing for the Piershick. Give him half a chance, he'll do it. That's exactly what he's done.
He's a super hurler, but an absolute pinpoint ball. I mean, Caleb Lyons had nothing wrong. Pinpoint ball from Keane Lynch. They really are good at this game.
1-5. There's a goal between us. 16 minutes when that goal came by Keane Lynch. Limerick now winning all the aerial battles as well. Waterford went long with that puck out, but it's Limerick coming away with it. Paddy O'Loughlin out towards the middle of the field. Dara Fives comes in. He's going for a long one. We need something to happen, but that one is left and wide. Our fifth wide. All the wives coming from our own half.
Yeah, and you see, even when Dara picked up that ball, we don't seem to have the same options Limerick have. When Limerick have the ball, when they have possession, they have loads of options. They play the ball around. Dara had the ball, no options, went for the score, and again, unfortunately, fifth wide.
So Nicky Quaid with the puck out. The national school teacher and a very popular member of the squad. Ball won by Kyle Hayes. The big man gets it inside. Bit too high, straight into the lap of Stephen O'Keefe. Stephen gets out to Dara Fives, but not the best of passes, very close to the line. Out comes Austin Gleeson, pick and turn by Gleeson under a bit of pressure. Was he fouled right in front of a linesman? He should have seen it, if anyone should have seen it. I didn't quite see what happened there. Sean Finn's winded, an all-star last year, gets it to Paddy O'Loughlin, making his debut today for the Limerick man, the Kilmallock man, inside his own 65. Tommy Ryan goes into the breaking ball. Was he fouled? Yes, says the referee, Fergal Horgan. In fairness to Tommy, when the ball breaks, he's onto it, and that's great play there. Not quite sure what happened with Austin Gleeson there. Was there a late tackle? Because he seemed to roll around there as if there was.
Didn't look to me like there was a huge amount in it, Kieran, to be honest, but maybe there was, maybe I missed something. Look at, as you say, Tommy Ryan has been really industrious today. He's after a yellow card now against, I'm not sure, possibly Keane Lynch or Will Donoghue. Will Donoghue's a player who's likely to pick up a second year. He's a very aggressive player, sometimes plays on the edge, sometimes over the edge, but Tommy Ryan has been one player who's really gone at him. But the thing is, we're living off scraps, we're living off frees like this that we're picking up from fouls that Limerick are really creating their own scores. They're making it happen. We're living off scraps, and we're playing with the breeze. We're 21 minutes gone and we're 3 points down. This should bring it back to do, but look, it's worrying at the moment.
45 metres out there. Pádraig Mahoney makes no mistake, a 4th point for him. It's back to a 2-point game. It's 1-5 to 6 points. That goal after 60 minutes by Keane Lynch, after a brilliant run by Hegarty, really cut the heart out of Waterford in every sense. And now they lead by 2, but Waterford have that gale force win. We need to get scores on the board. 21 minutes gone in the first half. You listen to the big Matt live here on WLR. Brilliant sunshine here as they go high. Kyle Hayes, the 6'7", offloads it to one of the small men on the team. Keane Lynch was a high tackle there by Austin Gleeson. One hurler of the year on another hurler of the year. They know each other from underage 18-21s, and just tap on the shoulder there and a tap on the backside saying, sorry about that, and I think Fergal Horgan might have something more to say to him.
Yeah, he's going to give a yellow. It was a hurley to helmet, but it's one of those ones I think was accidental. In fairness to Austin, it was an accidental one. I mean, player going around him, he was trying to stop him. Hurley went to helmet.
There was no intent.
There was no intent. You'll always get a yellow card once the hurley hits the helmet, but look, harmless enough, but it was a free for sure, and unfortunately it looks like Aaron Gillan will tap this one over, and we'll go 3 points down again.
So it's 1-5 to 6, but Gillan 55 metres out. Under 21 hurler of the year in 2017 when he bust onto the scene. Of course, last year had a great year for the All-Ireland champions. Taking his time again, and the crowd just starting to get a bit annoyed with him, but doesn't seem to put him off, and it seems to, if anything, spurs him on. 4 point for Gillan. We're back to a 1-goal game. Yeah,
hugely accurate free trigger. As we say time and again in the modern game, you have to have a free trigger like Gillan, like Manny, and Gillan is a top free taker, to be fair.
So Stephen O'Keefe with the puck up. We have the win. Would you be going long every time?
Absolutely, be going long, yeah. Down to the corners as opposed to straight down the middle.
This time it's towards the kind of left half forward berth. Oh, Bennett got a flick on it there, but well intercepted inside by Sean Finn, who saw it all the way. Keane Lynch, he's been so industrious in the middle of the field. Gets to the big man Hayes. Hayes tries to offload the ball. Tom Morrissey, haven't seen much of Tom in the opening part. Hayes again, flicks it away to Paddy O'Loughlin, doing well in his championship debut. The Kilmallock man will go for his own score, but it's gone left. Oh, it's gone. I thought it was left and right, but it just curled him beautifully.
I think the wind might have taken or something. But Keane
Salah wouldn't do that last night.
Keane Lynch is the link man for everything. Every time they win possession, Keane Lynch is coming off the shoulder, winning possession and working that ball through the lines again. He's having a superb game.
Paddy O'Loughlin got a beauty there. 1-7 to 6 points, a 4-point game, and Waterford just when that ball is going in, where just the Limerick defence are like they're really bossing us in nearly all sectors.
Yeah, and the aerial battles, they're winning the aerial battles, and that one again a break, and Mike Casey came out with it. So We just need to work a little bit harder, maybe commit it with the breeze, commit one more player up to offence.
Yeah, they went short there. Waterford just pushing back, and Waterford have that wind. We need to just get scores on the board. Dara Fives over on the far wing comes out with that ball, runs into a very heavy challenge. Can we just get the ball out of the fence and get it away quickly? Kevin Moore involved as well. Austin Gleeson sends it long, but inside on his own is Richie English. Of course, brought the cup to his dad, who was on his last few weeks, who passed away. But he was so happy to see his son Richie bring the cup in to see him and give him that great lift after the All-Ireland final last year. Now the ball is in the middle of the field. Jamie Byrne has been quiet so far. Back to Noel Connors. Jamie again, stand side here. It's 6 points to 1-7. But again, Waterford giving away simple possession. Ball goes back to Richie English. All-star last year. Gets the ball to Willie O'Donoghue. Dinna Pierce man trying to grasp this opportunity in for Dara O'Donovan. Gets the ball to Dan Morrissey. One of the Morrissey brothers looking for the brother inside. Ball breaks towards Noel Connors. Was he fouled? Yes, says the referee there, and Noel made sure he was seen to be fouled. Free out relief. Just those passes going astray first.
Yeah, and that's the difference I think here at the moment is Limerick are they're able to string 6, 7, 8 passes together and then give the right ball in. You know, we're trying to string passes together, and unfortunately we try to put 2 together there and it breaks down again. So that's been the difference between Limerick and Waterford so far.
So Stephen O'Keefe has the free. It's his own 20-metre line, but he's been asked to bring it back. But with that wind, he's well capable of putting it over, because a lot of his puck outs are dropping inside the 13-metre line.
Yeah, I'd be going for this. I'd certainly lob it in around the edge of the square for sure.
I think he's going for it, but can Morris keep it in place? Dropping around the danger zone. Who's going to get a touch on Morris? Seems to have it. Knocked to the ground there. Was he fouled? He's trying to get up. There's players literally on top of him. There's a loose rope there, but did he play it on the ground? Yes, says the referee. And Fergal Horgan must have great eyesight, because there were so many bodies around there. Not quite sure, because we haven't Hawkeye to confirm, but or a TMO there, but like very hard call there, I thought, on Morris, because he was pushed from behind. How was he going to get up with that one?
Yeah, it was hard to see it. His head was there was a 7-8 bodies there, Kieran. It was very hard to see what actually happened there, but something went on then after the ball. Mike Casey's on the ground now. Looks a little bit theatrical for me, but you know, it slows the game down, which is exactly what Limerick want now. We're 26 minutes gone. You know, they're 4 points up playing against the breeze. They're happy to slow this down and get in for the half-time break and obviously move on from there. But Fergal Horgan consulting was with his umpires. I don't think there's a huge amount in it, but we didn't see it, but hopefully that is the case. If not, someone could be in trouble.
Porrick on the line there with Pat Carney there. It was James Murray up in the stand feeding the information down, but no matter what way you look at the stats or information, it's not good from Waterford point of view. 176 point, we trail by 4, and we're playing with that strong wind. But Mike Casey seemed to pick up an injury there, of course, in the Piercing Star, and of course, teacher in.
Well, I think he's saying it was an off the ball thing after that incident, after where Morris was deemed to have fouled the ball. Looks like he's got a yellow card for something off the ball for Mike Casey. Looked a little bit harmless, but Mike Casey certainly making the most of it, and yellow card for Morris, so he has to be careful from here.
So Morris goes into the little red book wearing 12 and that red helmet. Very easy to distinguish. As out comes Nicky Quaid. What a family they have been, the family from Effin. Of course, his dad Tommy, former All-Star, died tragically in an accident, but brother Joe held the number 1 shirt as well. Paul in the middle of the field, plucked out of the air brilliantly by young Calum Lyons, but in the end the ball goes out over the line. Just those short game, we're not handling it. And in fairness, Limerick have adapted better to Walsh Park, which you think we'd be more used to than ourselves.
I mean, again, an uncharacteristic mistake by Tig. Great catch by Calum Lyons. Gave the ball perfectly to Tig. Tig tried to pass it to Oscar Gleeson, overcooked the pass, and sideline ball from Limerick for Limerick. And Garrod Hegarty's a master at these. He's looking for the runners, he's looking for the movement, and then gives the little short pass.
Yeah, Calum Lyons did brilliantly there.
Brilliant.
Soared up into the air, gave it back to Tig, but unfortunately the ball goes out over the line. Limerick line ball. Ball just out. The game just gone a bit dead. We've 27 minutes gone. 1-7-6. Limerick lead by 4. The All-Ireland champions come forward. Centre back Hannon. He could go for one. He's well capable of putting it over from outside the 45. He looks, he shoots, sends it over the bar. If he can do it up front, I can do it from behind. The Adair man splits the post. JP'd be happy with that one.
Well, it's just the coolness of the whole thing. It's
there's a confidence, there's a swagger to Limerick.
Absolutely, there's a swagger, but they know exactly what they're doing. They never seem under pressure on the ball. Even when the pressure's been put on, they never seem under pressure. They always seem to have enough bodies, but they're working a game plan to perfection here today, Kieran.
John Kiley looks on. He must be happy. 1-8 to 6 points. Porrick fanning there down under us there. What can he do to stem this tide? Limerick are just growing in confidence, growing in stature. Ball up to Mulcahy. Mulcahy leaves the ball to Casey. Casey has the ball. Goes to his left, sends the ball in low. What can they do with this one? Lovely offload inside. Ball go back to Graham Mulcahy. Normally he pulled the trigger for a goal. Instead he says, hold on now. What's happening there? The umpire's having second thoughts.
I think they're looking for Hawkeye. There's no Hawkeye here, guys. He's put it wide.
Took him a while there. Let off for Waterford there,
and he was looking for assistance from the linesman.
And he's well capable of going for a goal. Mulcahy, as we well know, of course, got a great goal in the All-Ireland final last year. It's 1-8-6 here live in Walsh Park. George Corber scored a big match. Great atmosphere here in Walsh Park, but unfortunately it's Limerick are dominating on the field and dominating in the terrace and in the stand as well. Peter Casey sends the ball inside the 45. They're attacking the Keens Road end. Mulcahy, he's on his game, he's taking his shot, but that one is right and wide. Commentators, of course, 4th wide for them. 1-8-6. We need a score badly.
We've been run ragged, Kieran. That's been honest. We're 5 points down. We're playing with the breeze. We've been run ragged. Limerick are moving us all over the pitch, and we seem to have no answers.
Yeah, the pressure is starting to tell. We're just not performing. But Mulcahy really on song today. His birthday today, and he'll be celebrating in style with a win here this afternoon. So far so good for them. There's a long way to go. 1-8-6. They lead by 5. Waterford there in the short game. Ball into Jamie. In came crashing in was Aaron Gillan there. Just no time on the ball. Gillan seems to have hurt himself. He's rolling around in agony. Keane Lynch comes in and wins it. What can he do with it? Tries to flick the ball inside. Prunty does well to win that ball. That's good play by the CIT student. Good play, Prunty. And the Abbey sideman goes long. Is it gone too long? But it's gone out over the end. The wind is strong and really just too long, gone left and wide, harmlessly wide. 6 wide for Waterford. Score remains 1-8-6. We trail by 5.
Yeah, look, for some element of positivity, I mean, Prunty and Caleb Lyons, I think, have been superb in the full back, and they've been real revelations this year. 2 young players leading from the front. But again, look, ball there, in fairness to Prunty, tried to put the ball into the corner, but we had no options up there, and we had Tommy and Austin Gleeson inside there now, but just been outnumbered, and so Limerick are moving numbers back and then working balls through the lines, and they're literally, and they did it in the league final, Kieran, where they have a game plan and they really pull off a game. They've executed almost to perfection again today in terms of how to do it. So we're just at the moment being beaten by a better side.
Yeah, Aaron Gillan picks himself up. He's okay. 31 minutes gone. 1-8-6. Play resumes in the middle of the field. Keane Lynch, who literally seems to be everywhere, over in the middle of the field. Kyle Hayes tracking back as well. Line ball over on the far side, over on the far bank. And great to see such colour here. Unfortunately, from Waterford point of view, there's more green and white than blue and white. Line ball over on the far side. Coming forward, Dan Morrissey. The hand man. 13 clubs representing the Limerick men today, as there is with Waterford, or 12 clubs from Waterford. As the ball goes to Tom Morrissey, the UL man sends the ball in low. He's won Fitzgibbon. He's won All-Ireland medals. He wants more. Ball towards Peter Casey. He's ducking and diving in a pear sheet man. He's still going forward. Shortens the grip. Takes his shot. Makes no mistake this time. Good score, Casey there. He'd one thing on his mind, but he's a player with confidence, and you could see it there.
Brilliant score from Peter Casey. Under great pressure from Caleb Lyons. Caleb Lyons did nothing wrong. An absolutely superb score from Peter Casey. That's the kind of quality that Limerick have, that they can create a score from nothing there. So great score Peter Casey.
Just 20 years of age, of course, won Harty with Art Skull Reach, and has won younger brother Mike, and has won medals, of course, with his club as well. Waterford go along 1-9-6, and Limerick just starting to put daylight between the sides as we approach half time here in Walsh Park. Waterford have the win, but it's Limerick have the tails up and have the possession. Ball with Paddy O'Loughlin, plays the ball back to Nicky Quaid there. Kind of dangerous play, but he gets away with it. Quaid gives the ball out as far as Dan Morrissey. Dan offloads the ball as far as Mike Casey. Then the pear sheet man offloads the ball over to the far side. Limerick just have too much time on the ball. Richie English, he goes long against the wind. The wind will hold it up, but doesn't matter for the men inside. Peter Casey on form today for Limerick. Back to Tom Morrissey, the UL man. What can he do? It gets it back to Kyle Hayes, another UL man, but a poor strike by the Kildimo man. In the ball goes to Stephen O'Keefe. 1-9-6. 6 points between the sides. Limerick with the win, and Limerick with really dominating in all sectors. They have the ball. Exhibition stuff. Disappointed with their display against Cork, but they're right to find it here today. Paddy O'Loughlin, the man who's getting his debut today, out in the middle of it. Willie O'Donoghue got the call up, and he's making the most of it. He's gone inside the Waterford 45. Good hard play there. Caleb Lyons again doing brilliantly. Good play by the WIT student. I'm sure his sister Kira will be delighted to see that as the ball goes to Pádraig Mahoney. Pádraig Mahoney goes long. It's our 7th wide. Limerick have just had 4, but the scoreboard reads 1-9-6 points. Limerick lead by 6.
Yeah, another one of those long wides, Kieran, that we've spoken about earlier on in the commentary.
Ball towards the middle of it. Willie O'Donoghue. He's doing well. 6'7". two 6'7" men on the Limerick team. One of them is O'Donoghue, the other is Kyle Hayes. Looks on as Keane Lynch comes in for the ball. One of the smallest in the team, but my God, what heart he has. Back to Declan Hannon, sends a driller of a ball down into the corner. It's gone right and wide. Wide number 5 for Limerick. Score remains 1-9-6. Just that scoreboard isn't ticking over for us, Fergus.
No, I mean, I'm not sure how long this is our last score, Kieran, but probably 10-12 minutes is our last score at least. And
yes, 34 minutes gone, so we've only a minute plus a few stoppages. Didn't have that many stoppages. Austin Gleeson gone up into the full forward line, which seems a big surprise. So it's 14 minutes since our last score, so that tells its own story. It's 1-9-6. Just after 20 minutes with our last score, we're down to 34th. All Limerick, and unfortunately from Waterford point of view, it's Limerick are playing against the wind. Waterford have the wind, started well, but over the last 15-20 minutes it's been all the men in green and white.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kieran, for the last quarter of an hour, I suppose it's hard to find anything positive about the Waterford performance. It's been hugely disappointing, to be honest. Limerick are just running us ragged, and they're going from being, I think, 3 points down to 6 points up.
Richie English, lovely play by the Doon man, of course. Brother Dormer down there, well known in Lismore circles, and now very much in the Limerick circle. Very proud of English as he is of the Shanahans and Growlers and Prendergast of Lismore. Ball in the middle of the field, well won by Waterford. Noel Connors comes out to try and do so, gets it back to Caleb Lyons. Good play by Caleb, offloads the ball to Kevin Moran. Moran struggling really to get the form that we know what he can do with it. Gets out to Pádraig Mahoney. Pádraig is going along. He looks a good one, looks a great one. It's gone over the bar. More like it from Waterford. Good interplay. 2 minutes of additional time. We needed that score, and we needed it badly.
Again, Caleb Lyons under pressure. Young player. Great ball out to Kevin Moran, who got it to Pádraig Mahoney. Caleb Lyons has been superb. Under pressure. Huge amount of ball going into him, and Peter Casey, good ball under pressure. He's having a superb game.
Grandad John, of course, proud Dungarvan man. His dad Shawnee, of course, Dom the black and red of Ballygunner. He'll be proud as well. Ball in the middle of the field. That big man again, Kyle Hayes, offloads the ball. And there's big men in every quarter. The small men inside, though, have the skill to go with it. Aaron Gillan has it. He's one of those smaller men outside the 45. Sends a lovely diagonal ball to Paddy O'Loughlin. He's already got one. Will he get a second on his debut? Yes, he does. Over the bar it goes, but all too easy. Paddy O'Loughlin looked up there over on the far side. They saw the space, gave it across to Paddy. He said, thank you very much. Over the bar it goes. Second point for the wing halfback.
Yeah, again, I hate saying this. We're not working hard enough. It's as simple as that. We're just not working hard enough. It's frustrating at times.
We started with great intensity, but we seem to have dropped after the first 10-15 minutes. Ball down into the far corner. Came off a Limerick man. First to put up his hand is Tommy Ryan, the Moontor from Tallow, and the ball has gone out over the line. 7 points to 110. 6 points between the sides. See Ned Quinn down here, the Limerick or the Kilkenny County Chairman down there alongside Anthony Walsh, the treasurer. The ball just came in quickly there. Very unlucky there for Waterford. The ball came in quickly from the line ball, but Nicky Quaid was up to it. Could have been a green flag there if it would have been something special. But it came in. Quaid didn't deal with it that well, but what could have been, Fergal?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen Bennett, that's a trademark thing, coming in, looking to bat in the net. But look, on the plus side, great work from Mikey Carney. Tommy Ryan in the forward line, Mikey Carney in the forward line, can't fault them. They're absolutely trying their heart out of there. And Mikey Carney's after winning a free turnover, Mike Casey. So great stuff. Pádraig is probably going to put this over, bring it back to hopefully 5 points before we win it.
Not easy, lads. It's only 4 metres in, but still within his capabilities.
Yeah, it's within his capabilities. It's a tricky enough free, absolutely. Of course it is, absolutely. It's a tricky enough free. And the win probably makes it a bit harder as well. Hopefully he'll put this over, win 5 points down, but unfortunately doesn't look like that will be good enough, to be honest, Kieran.
Possibly against the wind, we might be forced
to
go short.
Yeah, that's the thing, absolutely.
And that's the game that we know best. So Pádraig taking his time with this one. The Limerick crowd starting to cheer Pádraig there. He's hitting into the town end, the city end, down here on our right. But the people on the bank have a great view. Oh, he pulled it left badly and pulled it wide. He'll be disgusted with that. An 8 wide for Pádraig. So untypical of the Ballygunner race. 37 minutes gone. We'll hear the half-time whistle very, very shortly. 1-10-7. Referee Fergal Horgan blows his whistle for a half-time. Disappointing performance by Waterford. They started very well, got the opening 2 scores, won on 60 minutes when Keane Lynch took the pass from Garrod Hagerty. He made that great run, stuck it in the back of the net. That put space between them, and Limerick just drove on from there. Half-time score here. Disappointing first half from Waterford perspective. It's Limerick 110, Waterford 7 points. Join us for first half analysis and all the action of that second half after the break.
The Big Match on WLR
with George Corbett Skoda.
Yes, welcome back. As we look down, the go games are on, and indeed disappointing go games from a Waterford point of view, because the opening half has been very disappointing. 110-7 points. Waterford started so well, but a killer blow after 16 minutes when Garrod Hagerty made that great run offloaded to Keane Lynch. Looked like the Waterford defence just stood up. There was confusion at the guard, was the whistle was blown or not, but as Fergal mentioned, you play until the whistle blows, and Keane Lynch just stuck it in the back of the net. So that really put daylight between the sides. Limerick have driven on nearly 110 to 7 points, and indeed that's been the story of the first half. After a brilliant start, we went 20 minutes without a score. Fergal, as you said during the commentary there, the goal really was that killer blow, because we started so well, started with intensity, but everything seems to drop then together.
Yeah, and the goal, maybe we'll see it in the Sunday game tonight, and maybe it was a good goal. We felt from here that, some of the players have stopped, but I think, that's a basic lesson of defending too. I suppose you don't stop in those circumstances, you keep going, regardless of whether the whistle is blown or not, you keep going and you defend, and we just switched off for that second and goal. But look, overall, in the overall course of the first half, Kieran, no question, the scoreline reflects the first half for me anyway.
Brian Flannery, Munster Express, we started so well, the killer blow was the goal, but overall Limerick have been the dominant force, and scoreline reflects that.
Yeah, I think so. And look, it's fierce disappointing having played with the advantage of the breeze to be going in to the dressing room 6 points down in half time. That'll be a difficult dressing room, I think, to rise themselves for the second half. But I think a lot of cases they were orchestrated their own disaster. Allowing a guy run from distance straight down the middle. That's where really conceded a goal. And I don't know, whatever tactical alignment you have after that, then it kind of kills it. You'd be disappointed not getting more players, I suppose, closer to the goal, particularly with that strong breeze. Far too often Morris was inside, isolated on his own. Right. Too few, not enough players close enough to him, and then you're hitting long ball down. Unfortunately, with, I suppose, that tactical alignment, I think Dara Fives had 2 wides, maybe Tig de Burke had 2 wides as well. So that's 4 from distance that if you're, that you've got to nail. If you're playing with only 1 or 2 inside in the full forward line, you've got to be capable of scoring from distance. Waterford failed to do that really often enough in the first half. And there's definitely a number of players that are below par as well, and that's certainly not helping.
Tomas McCarthy, I think Brian put his finger on it there. A lot of time, because of the wind, we were shooting from distance from our own half, and a lot of the wides, I think we've 8 in the first half, but most of them nearly came from our own half. Yeah, exactly, Kieran. No, Brian mentioned it there, like 4 from the half backs, that told a lot. And like Waterford had an early purple patch in the game, Kieran. I think that 4 wides inside 12 minutes, and Waterford could have capitalised further on that. But the goal just seems to have drained the life out of the team completely. They look
was there a case of the whistle? Because we thought in commentary that the boys kind of stood up. It looked like, was there kind of a confusion?
I think Fergal Horgan was right to allow to play on. I think Hegarty was fouled okay, but I think he was right to allow play go on, and Gallant finished it really, really well. But I think Waterford are caught in every department, Kieran, because if when they're playing it short, the ball is going to ground, and once that ball goes to ground, Limerick are swarming in packs and they're out muscling Waterford, and if Waterford go along, they can't win ball in the air either. It's sheer force of numbers from Limerick. They're bringing 14 men inside drawn half at times. We've seen Gallant, Mulcahy, Peter Casey pick up balls inside their own 45-65. Then Waterford are in conundrum. The cornerbacks, do they come out or do they stay put? And then the Limerick players are able to work the ball through the lines, pick out the men inside and pick off their scores.
There's
and it's very worrying.
And there's swagger to the Limerick play when they're in possession. Yeah. Everybody seems to know what they're about.
Yeah, they're a well-oiled machine, Kieran, and Waterford just seem very uncertain about the plan that they're trying to implement at the moment.
Finbar McCarthy, to get the Corkview 96 FM, can you give us any ray of hope here, Finbar?
No. Well, certainly not on the evidence of the first half. I thought their play was very ragged, short puckouts. 2 or 3 went out over the sideline, dispossessed a couple of times, and Limerick are just working very, very hard. And as Tomas said there, the goal has given them a huge lift. And remember, their left half back, Paddy O'Loughlin, playing against the wind, has got 2 savage points.
It is debut.
Is it? Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's debut. Yeah. Right. He's got 2 very, very good points, and Waterford struggling big time up front.
From a Waterford point of view, Brian Flannery, obviously it's very difficult for Pádraig to regroup the lads. As I mentioned just before half time, trying to put a bit of light on what has been a gloomy afternoon. But the short game might be forced to play it. It's the game the lads are more familiar with, and now we're being forced to do it.
Look, I don't know, short game, long game, you know, if you can't win possession, it doesn't matter what sort of game or tactics that you're playing. They need a few players out there to stand up and start winning balls. There's not enough, they're certainly not winning enough ball in the air. A lot of them are very disappointed just in individual performances as well. I think, you know, if I was looking at second half, I'd be trying to dial it down and maybe simplify it a lot more. You know, go out, try win their own ball. get a bit of pressure on that Limerick defence, start running at them with the ball, particularly against the Breeze. They will need to carry the ball at the opposition, try create chances, try create, maybe even win a few frees, get back into this game. But look, there was one goal chance before the half, I think it was a Stephen Bennett. Like, Waterford are not going to win any game unless they can score goals. No goal in the first two championship games, no goal in this first half. When you get chances like that at this level, you got to take them.
Tomas McCarthy, as regards the substitute bench, and just looking down, Shane Fives, Conor Gleeson, Brickwall, Shane Bennett, Peter Hogan, Stephen Roach. Obviously, changes will have to be made. Do you see him making the changes now, or do you see giving lads an extra 10?
Oh, it has to be now, I think, Kieran. I think one change I would make, I'd stick in Conor Gleeson and get him to mark Cian Lynch, because Jamie Barron seems too preoccupied with Lynch in that first half, and he's winning all the dirty ball on the ground and racing through, and Jamie Barron...
And we need Jamie going forward, don't we?
Absolutely. And I think Michael Welch is definitely worth a half hour at least, get him in on a couple of puck outs, just to cause a bit of consternation.
Win a bit of possession, win primary possession.
And perhaps Shane Bennett as well for his pace and his finishing ability, because, as Brian mentioned, Waterford need goals.
Two of our men I've been impressed with is Caleb Lyons and Conor Prunty. Two of the younger lads. We've 7 All-Stars on the team, but these two lads are really standing up.
Yeah, absolutely, Kieran. Showing real leadership. Lyons very formidable in the air, and they're under a lot of pressure inside. A lot of good quality ball going into Gillan, Mulcahy and Casey, and it could have been a lot worse only for Prunty and Caleb Lyons.
Yeah, I would agree with Tomas. I think it's a case for bring on Brick Welch. I mean, he's been the leader of this team over a long number of years. Great player, and he'll surely rally the crowd. And, a couple of surging runs and maybe get a score or two and bring them back into the game. I still think Limerick will win, but Waterford are fighting for their lives, and they've been in this position before. Remember last year, they went up to Thurles with nothing to play for and very nearly beat Cork. Today is do or die, and I'd expect a big 35 minutes from them. If not, game over.
Brian Flannery, Austin Gleeson, what would you do with him?
I don't know.
Where would you put him?
Yeah, look, I mean, he's had very little impact, and that's for a player of his talent to have such little impact in, the 2.5 championship games to date. It is a conundrum, and Tomas mentioned about Jamie Barron. Waterford need their better players on the ball more often. I think he ended up corner forward there. Look, I don't think it's working. Maybe it's too late in the day now to switch it around, but certainly for the future, it's something he has to probably look at. I would say the number 6 jersey, to be honest with you. It hasn't worked in the forward so far, has contributed very little today. In fact, nothing today. So, look, they've 35 minutes. Their championship it's sailing away from them now at this stage. But you'd like to see a bit of fight. The game sort of drifted against Tipperary and suffered a bit of a trimming by the end of it. Here in front of Welsh Park, in front of a home crowd, Waterford need to show a little bit more fight in that second half.
Just for a leave to go, Finran McCarthy, you haven't been here for a championship hurling game. You must give credit to the ground. Martin Brady said the same as his first championship game here.
Yeah, it's fantastic. In fairness, when I came in, I had heard that was in great nick for the Clare game, and the facilities here are top class. Stewards, everything. It's great that the championship game is at home. It's just a pity that Waterford can't match it on the field. But in fairness, the last time I hear the ground wasn't in the best condition. But all credit to all involved getting up to standard, and it's a credit to everyone.
We'll end on a positive note. Thanks for talking to us, and of course Brian Flannery, thanks a million. Brian Flannery, the Munster Express, Tomas McCarthy, News and Star, and of course our own Ace GA report as well. Fergal Hartley, as I said, trying to put a positive is very difficult in that first half, but we started so well. That's the conundrum I find it hard to put my head around. We started with aggression. We had a few wides that kind of killed us a bit, but that goal really after 16 minutes was the killer.
Yeah, that goal probably was the turning point to a large extent, Kieran, but since then I suppose you'd have to say Limerick just found their bearings, and they just had that confidence, they had that composure to just work that ball around. They're literally playing like a football team, and they're doing it with such ease. And in fairness, it is hard to defend against, Kieran, but I suppose if you were to be critical, you'd feel that we'd have to be putting more pressure on players. They're playing that ball around too easily, and there's not enough pressure being exerted. And that's hopefully, look, Kieran, I don't think we're going to win this game, let's be honest. It's very hard to see it, right? But we have to go out. These are proud players who've put in a huge amount for Waterford. They have to go out. They're going to exit the championship day most likely, but at least go out fighting on your back and really go out and playing with pride in that jersey.
Is that Brick Welch I see down here?
Brick Welch and Shane Bennett look like they're on.
Shane Bennett look like they're on. Just looking around, I don't see Morris Shanahan, don't see that red helmet as one.
No, Morris looks like he's gone, yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
Stephen Bennett's on, Tommy Ryan is still on. Don't see Porrick there.
Stephen is on. Don't see Porrick.
I see Porrick. No, Porrick is there. Yeah. Austin Gleeson I think is gone. Yeah, I think Austin Gleeson is gone, and I think Morris Shanahan is gone.
So Austin Gleeson, Mara Shanahan called ashore. The two men coming in, Michael Brick-Walsh making his 75th appearance. What a record for any man. And Shane Bennett, younger brother, of course, of Stephen, gets his chance as well. But what a record, 75th appearance, and a man that started his career back in your time, Fergal, in the early noughties, and now still playing, and indeed I'm sure he'll make an impact here this afternoon.
Yeah, at least one thing you can be absolutely certain with Brick Welch is he'll go out fighting on his back. You know, he'll go out. This could well be Brick's last championship year. I suspect it probably will be, and I tell you, we're up, our backs are to the wall here big time, but Brick Welch will go out fighting on his back, that's for sure.
DJ Ford makes his way in there. Unfortunately, DJ strapped up, picked up an injury. Ball is in for the second half. 6 points behind. Can Waterford come back? Ball is turned in, and that man gets it. Michael Brick-Walsh comes straight forward, gets the ball on to Mikey Carney off his shoulder. Mikey offloads the ball to Pori. Pori takes his shot, has a look, takes it. Oh, it's left and wide. We wanted a good start, nearly got it, but good to see Brick very much involved.
Yeah, and uncharacteristic of Pori. You know, he made the run, picked the possession, and it's one he would normally put over, I say, with his eyes closed. 9th
wide for Waterford. Quaid pucks it out. Now he has the win. Now he's going along. Who's first to react to that big man again? Garrod Hegarty. Cost lots of problem to us in that first half. But Waterford win back possession. Good play inside. What can Waterford do with it? Caleb lies there. Did very well. Gets it out. First touch for Shane Bennett. The electrician apprentice gets the ball away to Jack Prendergast. To Lismorman. Gone inside the 45. Back to Bennett. Bennett sharpens the grip. Takes a shot. That's more like it for Waterford. Jack Prendergast involved. Lismore to Ballysaggart. And Shane just on for the second half, sticks it over the bar. That's the start we needed for.
Yeah, great start. Two great attacks. You know, the first one Porrick should have put over. The second one Shane Bennett put over. So a really great start. That's exactly what we needed, and give the crowd a little bit of hope.
We came back against Clare here in the league when all seemed done and dusted. Can we do repeat it here? There's 5 points between the side. They go along, dropping inside the danger zone. That's the triangle. Out comes Conor Prunty. Good play by Prunty. Makes the training from Ring and Skiddy, where he's now working, of course, in his placement from CIT. Gets the ball out. Dara Fives. Did he overplay it? Runs into a bit of traffic inside his own 45. In to help him is Caleb Lyons. Just outside the 45. Bit of overplay by the Waterford defence, trying to get it away from their own 45. Snapped in the end by Prunty. He's coming forward. Good play. Oh, just tried to offload it. Policed it. Telegraphed it. And Kyle Hayes says thank you very much and puts it over the bar. That was unfortunate for Prunty. Did everything right. Drew the man. Telegraphed what he was doing. Well intercepted by Kyle Hayes. He sticks it over the bar. Disappointing return from Prunty.
Yeah, and a great battling there by Waterford. Won the ruck, did everything right, and unfortunately a simple interception by Kyle Hayes and a simple point.
Sharp puck out. This time it goes to Noel. Connor's the captain. We have to go short against a strong wind. Tied to Burka. Gets the ball away. Mikey Carney just beside his own 45. Good play by Carney. Holding up the play, trying to come forward. Well played, Mikey Carney. There's more aggression.
I think the referee needs to pull out some yellow cards for Limerick as well, because they're doing this professional foul non-stop now all day.
Ball goes quick down into the corner. Too quick really for Waterford. Gives Stephen Bennett no chance. Really giving away possession. We had possession. Want the best of frees, and Stephen Bennett has no chance. Limerick win possession. Down in the left-hand corner, dressing room corner. They're with the wind. They're playing down into the city goal. Ball goes to the big man, Garrod Hegarty. He made the run for the first goal. Could he be the scorer of the second? Takes his shot. Back in the net it goes. Hegarty is on fire. His dad did it in the 90s at centre-back as an all-star. And now his son, Garrod, sticks it in the back of the net, and the Moon Tour says thank you very much.
Disaster for Waterford, Kieran, because in fairness got off to a good start, but Garrod Hegarty ran from the 45 straight through. Some player, Prunty, should have come to him. Somebody should have come to him and just buried him,
but no one tracked him back. We saw it in the first half,
but he ran straight through, Kieran, and you have to just go and take him out of the game. But look straight, you can't, as a defence, you can't leave a player run through a defence like that and score a goal.
Sixner for Waterford, 38 minutes. Garrod Hegarty made the first one, scores the second one. Now Limerick are back on the attack again. Waterford under pressure. We got a bad beating at Tipperary. Is there a lift in this Waterford team? We don't want the same to happen today on our own soil. Beaten against Clare in the opening round. This is our second game in Walsh Park. We haven't played it for years. Let's try and get at least a performance for the Waterford crowd. Outnumbered by the Limerick in the stands and in the terraces, and outplayed out on the field. 2-11 to 8 points. That goal was, if the goal in the first half was a signal, my God, that really danced on the coffin for us.
Yeah, it just shouldn't have happened, Kieran. I mean, you know, at club level, if that were to happen, you really would be savage with your defence for leaving a player run through like that. And you know, whereas even if they score and they tap the ball away and they score, at least you've tried to close down the player. But to leave a player run from the 45 through and score, it's just it's so disappointing. But
Noel
not sure what's
Connors
happening
there.
here.
Yeah.
Not sure what's happening with Fergal.
Having a word with Noel there. Not quite sure what's happening. Hold up and play. 39 minutes gone. 2-11 to 8 points on 38 minutes. Garrod Hegarty put the ball in his stick, ran a good 20-30 yards, stuck it in the back of the net, gave O'Keefe no chance in the Waterford goal. It's 2-11 to 8 points. Disappointing scoreline, and there's a long way to go.
And that's the worry, Kieran, is that there's only 4 or 5 minutes gone in the second half, and Limerick have already increased their lead, and it's a bit worrying now.
And they have the wind behind into their backs. Their tails are up, and the green and white will try and just pile on the scores. They go along. Well read by Tadhg de Burka. The Dublin-based Munster from Clashmore gets the ball to Mikey Carney. Mikey was one of our better forwards in the first half. Himself and Tommy Ryan there. Gets the ball, wins the ball, takes the man on. Good play, Mikey Carney.
And Fergal Horgan at last is pulling out the yellow card, because this tackle, as Waterford go by, there's this professional tackle by Limerick. They're doing it all day. They try and drag the player back to stop the run, and at last I think Fergal Horgan is pulling out the yellow card.
You've been mentioning that right through, and it's been consistent, so he had to put a stop to it.
Yeah, and absolutely. And Will O'Donoghue is an absolute excellent perpetrator of that one. I've seen him at club level doing it so much. I've seen him at county level doing it so much, and finally he's got a yellow card for it.
He quite in the Munster club for when it was needed. Pádraig Mahoney steadies himself, hits it into Keane's Road end, hits it over the bar, steadies the ship a bit. We need the score. We've got a sympathetic, literally, round of applause from down under us here.
Hopefully now, Kieran, we can steady the ship for the next 10 minutes. Even just steady the ship, just keep that scoreline down. It doesn't look like we're going to win this game, but as you say, we have to go out with pride. We can't go out like we went out against Tipperary.
Ball from the puck out, going long from Nicky Quaid. Hard to keep in play here. Tight pitch here, but really it's the Limerick men have adapted well to it. Gary Mulcahy under the scoreboard. Keane's Road in, send the balls across in hope more than anything. Out comes Tadhg de Burka. More like it from the Clashmore, and grabs it with guts, so offloads the ball as far as Dara Fives. What can Dara do with this one? Drills the ball low. Kevin Moran, the De La Salle Munster. What option says he? Tries to get around the danger zone. Tommy Ryan in behind his marker, but Mike Casey says thank you very much and just knocks the ball out there in hope more than anything else as the ball breaks to Declan Hannon. Hannon gets it out to Paddy O'Loughlin. 2 points in the first half by Paddy in the half back line. UCC Fitzgibbon Cupscar gets it on to Garrod Hegarty. He's been the star so far. The big man, the 6'5" Hegarty, has a look, takes his shot. That's left and wide, but that's the first wide for Limerick in the second half. Score remains 2-11-9.
Yeah, relief for Waterford. Hegarty scored one
ball
goal
to
and created
Fives there. Just didn't grab it there. First game, of course, back for Fives since the game against Clare last year. Kyle Hayes, 6'7" of him, gets it into one of the smaller men. Peter Casey, all too easy. Casey to Tom Morrissey, first goal for the UL student, sends it over the bar. The younger of the Morrissey brother says thank you very much. Tom sends it over the bar.
Yeah, and Tom Morrissey all loose on the 45 in front of goal, Kieran. It's hard to fathom at times as to how they can have so many loose players and be able to move that ball around so easy and at will.
Things just starting to unravel, unfortunately, for Waterford. The clouds are coming over in the sky. The clouds are coming over some of the players as well. From the puck out, Mikey Carney really taking the game to the Limerick men, trying his very best in what looks like a very difficult scenario. Kyle Hayes gets the ball. Keane Lynch swings it at first time, didn't steady himself, and the Patrick Swellman sends it left and wide. Wide number 7 for Limerick, but it's the scoreboard that counts. 2-12 to 9 points. 42 minutes gone here in Walsh Park. You listen to the Big Match live on WLR, or thanks to George Corbett Skoda. Ball now down under us. Dara Fives, Munster again, Dublin base, sends the ball to Bennett, pushing the back there by Mike Casey. Good play by Bennett. Came out, won the free, got the free. Brick Walsh comes out and says thank you very much, has a word with the ref, and just runs away. The man making his 75th appearance, the Strably man. What a proud day for him. I saw Pat Fennell down there earlier, one of the stewards. All of Strably, of course, if they ever put up a statue, it'll be to Brick Walsh, and wouldn't it be deserving? Of course, numerous county medals with his pride and joy, Strably, and of course plenty of medals with Waterford, Munster medals and National League medals to boot as well. So Pádraig Mahoney outside the 45, hitting it into the wind, hitting into Keane's Road end. More blue and white than green and white down there. It's one area where we seem to be dominating the supporters. Takes his time, takes his shot. Oh, miscued again. It's right and wide number 10.
Yeah,
for
it's one of those things, when things aren't going your way, they don't tend to go your way, and that was one that was important for us, just to keep the score but some way intact at least, because we don't want Limerick going away with this game, Kieran.
Long ball. Hegarty does the business again to Kyle Hayes. Kyle Hayes back to Willie O'Donoghue. Then a Piershick man coming forward, gone inside the far again. Offload. He's a physical character, Fergal. You have him well mapped. You had your homework done for him for the Munster club, but definitely he rose his weight around. Ball taken quickly for Waterford. Dara Fife down it this time, looking for Shane Bennett or Stephen Bennett near the sideline. Was he fouled? No, says the referee. Out over the line. And those balls that we're spreading wide, it's just not working for us.
No, not working for us, Kieran. I suppose that's a game plan that Limerick have mastered and have it perfected, but unfortunately from our perspective not working for us today.
Nicky Quaid. The Moon Tour goes long, cut off at the other end. Good play by Waterford defence. Young Lyons has done well, gives it to Prunty, trying to burst out with the ball, gets it back to Ty de Burka inside his own 45, stand side. Was he fouled? Yes, he says the referee. Graham Mulcahy trying to bring him for a tango. No tango in Paris today. Line ball, Ty de Burka sending it down stand side, covering back for Limerick. It's Declan Hannon, all too easy. 2-12 to 9 point, 45 minutes gone. Ball over on the far side. Tom Morrissey has it, the yellow helmeted UL man, sends it down into the corner. What are they going to do with this one? They have a look, takes their shot, and the ball O'Donoghue sends it over the bar. Good score. But again, sends it over the bar.
Gerard Hegarty on his own on the 45, ball picked up by I think it was Dan or Tom Morrissey, but all on his own on the 45. It's it beggars belief at times that we can have so many loose players in our defence in their forward line.
All too easy for Limerick. 2:13 to 9, 45 and a half minutes gone here. John Kiley met him before the game to just check the placing of the team, but he was really up for today. Disappointed with their flat performance against Cork, but definitely they're not flat today. They came down early, were out in Faithleg early this morning, left no stone unturned. We're in here good and early before the game to see the end of the minor match, which ended as a draw. Good display by Waterford in the minor, but unfortunately the seniors not doing likewise. Keane Lynch for the Limerick man. Ball police there, well read inside. Good play by Waterford. Mikey Carney again taking on the defence, but showed too much of it. Kyle Hayes wins it. Good ball down into the corner. Aaron Gillan and Prunty doing very well to stick with him and wins that ball. That's good play. That's good play, Conor Prunty. Good play by the 6'5" Abbey side man. Tony Mansell will be happy looking down to see that happen. Ball now with Waterford. Jack Prendergast, quite enough in the first half, but got a good score coming forward there, taken out of it by the Limerick man. And it's a free for Waterford, but good play inside, but great play by Conor Prunty.
Conor Prunty has been absolutely superb today, Kieran. And look, we've spoken about the second half coming out and just fighting for everything. And in fairness to Prunty, as I say, young player, I think he's 21, 22 years of age now, but absolutely leading by example. The ball goes down between himself and Glan, and Glan is one of the best forwards in the country. It was a Glan ball. Prunty turns it over and brings it out, and absolutely superb play. So if there's some positives to be taken from it, I think himself and Cameron Lyons, I think there's two players that will be a bedrock of the Waterford team hopefully for the next decade.
Mikey Carney there drew that free, but Mikey really is taking the game to Limerick. He's the one forward really having a cut today.
He is absolutely, and he's justified his selection today, and it was one you didn't know who. We knew it was going to be changed, we didn't know who were going to come back in, but Mikey Carney certainly left everything on the pitch and has justified his selection. And
Jack Prendergast, for a young lad, has done well as well. He's been literally taken out there. Conor McCarthy gone in and Dr. Keane Foley, but I think he's okay. He's up, he's about, he's made of tough stuff.
But another one, Limerick are very cynical in the tackle, Kieran, and they're going head high a lot of the time. There's the one with the hurling, they're very, very cynical to tackle. Their game seems to be if Waterford run at you or your opposition run at you, take him out early.
A lot of them really should be blown up for.
I think so, absolutely. I think there should be more yellow cards for Limerick, 100%.
So Pádraig with the free, missed the last one. This is more difficult. It's outside the 65, hitting into a strong breeze as he curled it in. Yes, he has. That's a good strike by the Ballygunner race. He'd be disappointed with the last, but he's back on track. 7 point for him. Keeps that scoreboard ticking over, but we need more than a ticking over scoreboard. We need a green flag. It's 2:13 to 10, 9 points between the sides. George Corbett scored a big match. Disappointing day for Waterford. 110 to 7 at half time. 2:13 to 10. That goal at the start of the second half by Gerard Hegarty has really made a huge difference. So ball, a bit of stalemate over in the far corner, down near the scoreboard and near the end line. Conor Prunty feeds the ball back to Stephen O'Keefe, under a bit of pressure as he went to strike that one, sending out towards Michael Brick Walsh, comes out to try and win. That's good play by Brick. In the end, didn't get into his hand, and the ball goes out over the line.
The game has already petered away to a bit of a pedestrian pace, Kieran. If that ball hadn't gone dead, no one was even going for it, so it's a bit of a pedestrian pace at the moment. But
yeah, hold up and play there. Look, I see Conor Gleeson being called down there, of course, the TQS man. I see Maura and Tom from TQS down there, the proud sponsors, but what disappointing 2 seasons they've had as county sponsors as Limerick pile under pressure.
Garrod Hegarty from an awkward angle has a look, take a shot. That's right and wide.
We're riding our luck here, Kieran, because again, Garrod Hegarty, for the third time we've said it, he's all on loan on the 21, albeit out in an angle. He makes the run into the space and he's creating the space for himself, but we just got to take on some personal responsibility, man for man, mark your man. We cannot leave men, Garrod Hegarty in 20 yard space around the 21, and I say we're blessed that he's missed the last couple of scores.
Your man from the Piercing is called ashore there, the big man Willie O'Donoghue. On comes Darragh O'Donovan, disappointed not starting the Doon man. He'll be out to make an impact. 2-13 to 10 points, 49 minutes gone. Very overcast here now in Walsh Park. Brilliant sunshine for most of the afternoon as the clouds start to come in around Walsh Park. Warming up down under us is Conor Gleeson, as we mentioned earlier. Ball over on the far side. Jamie Byrne been very quiet to his normal high standards, the former All-Star. Gets the ball across to Pádraig Mahoney. Mahoney tries to swing the ball across. Bit too much on it and just not going for Waterford. Mikey Carney, really, the pass wasn't the best of passes and couldn't really control it.
Yeah, and that's, look, unfortunately to say, all these small things are going wrong for us today, Kieran, but we're just not able to execute that short game as well as Limerick are. I suppose what would have been a bread and butter pass just went astray. If it gone to Mikey Carney to hand, it would have been a point for sure, you'd expect, but look, these bread and butter passes just not working for us today.
Yeah, Darragh comes off there. Of course, didn't play for over a year, just a bit match rusty, as always gives it everything. Went for a few long ones in the first half, didn't come off, and comes Conor Gleeson. Yeah,
and I think, look, to be fair to Darragh Fives, he gave it his all. As he hasn't played championship game in a year, so he was bound to be that bit rusty, and he was bound to that bit maybe not a full match fitness. So, had a good overall, decent enough 50 minutes.
20 minutes to go here, 2-13 to 10. Ball goes to Casey, and Peter sends it right and wide. Wide number 9 for the Limerick men, but the scoreboard remains the same. 2-13 Limerick, 10 points Waterford, 9 points between the sides. 20 minutes left.
Yeah, look, if we can get under a couple of points and tag him on and at least go out with, we're not going to win this game. It's a miracle if we win this game, but at least go out with maybe a relatively, decent moral victory, if you like, maybe losing by 4 or 5 points. I mean, that's the most we can probably hope for at this stage, but let's fight it out for the last 20 minutes.
Stephen O'Keefe pucks out, he's looking in from the goal on our right there, the City goal. Didn't have too many options, went short and really ran into a bit of trouble here, but Jamie Byrne does well to win that ball. Jamie gets the ball to Shane Bennett, tries to leave the ball flick through, one again inside, but the Limerick half back, and the big man really coming strong there. Hannon gets the ball on for us, Kyle Hayes. Kyle shortens the grip, takes his shot, and the UL student sends it over the bar. Young hurler of the year last year, has all the attributes, just 20 years of age, a man with a bright future, and a man you just don't give space to.
Yeah, and they just seem to be able to find the space, and they're able to pick out that right pass, and that score was a relatively straightforward score, what you consider to be a simple score for Limerick, but we're just not getting those same easy scores in the far end.
Gillan called off, so definitely Prunty did the job on Gillan. He went in on Prunty, didn't get much change, and he's disappointed being called ashore. On comes Barry Murphy for the Limerick men. 2-14 to 10, wherever you listen to us. Unfortunately, we're not bringing you good news if you're Waterford supporters. The ball is poked out to the substitute, and the substitute sends it over the bar. Darragh O'Donovan disappointed in not starting. Now he said to selectors, I'd
say there's a man coming on with a point to prove. Very first ball he gets in, and he gets a great score, to be fair.
2-15 to 10. That's 21 points to 10. Just Limerick, just all too easy for the ball in the middle of the field. Who's first to react? Keane Lynch is in there. What a powerhouse he has been. The Mary I student, 2 Fitzgibbon Cup medals, of course, Young Player of the Year. He's an All-Ireland under 21 as well. Orskull Reach, Harty Cup, won everything really the GA can offer except the seat and it all. But he has the All-Ireland medal, which is the important one. Ball now to Tadhg de Burka. Tadhg de Burka, back to Pádraig. Pádraig has a look, takes the shot, and the wind just holds it up. In the end goes harmlessly wide, but Pádraig just shakes his head. Just not happened for Pádraig today. 11th wide for Waterford.
Yeah, look, against the breeze, probably a relatively difficult one, but again, one probably you'd expect when Pádraig is on his game that those ones would go over. But look, again, probably not enough options inside from the hit it short either, so probably no choice but to go for the score.
Shane Dowling warming up just as we think things are starting to settle. On comes the man who knows how to get goals. Got a brilliant one in last year's All-Ireland final, brilliant semi-final against Cork last year. Got a brilliant penalty against Anthony Nash. Then the Piercing man knows where the goal is, knows where the green flag is, and definitely a man will need watching when he comes on as Keane Lynch gets the ball.
and he sends it left and wide. Game starting to peter away there. The crowd really 10 wides for Limerick, scored 2-15 to 10. On comes Shane Dowling, big favourite with the fans, and I'm sure you'll see Shane Dowling getting his name on the scoreboard. Man called ashore is Tom Morrissey.
And that's the thing you see, and players like Shane Dowling now are coming on with 15 minutes to go, point to prove, going to try and get a few, tag on a few scores. So you can see guys like him for the last 15 minutes really going to try and hammer the nail into Waterford Scoffin.
26 years of age, of course, 2 points against Cork, and scored that brilliant goal in the All-Ireland final last year, and scored many a great goal for Napiershi. Short puck out for Waterford to Tyke de Burka inside his 20-metre line. 2-15 to 10. Waterford playing at home, but Waterford not getting any home comforts here today in Walsh Park. Pips in absolutely brilliant condition. Well done to everyone involved. To Waterford Landscapes, to Dave and all his crew, to this crew here, to Pat Carroll, to John Jeff Murphy, everyone involved, our County Secretary Pat Flynn and Owen Savage, everyone. Arrangements here have been top class. Pitch absolutely top class, but unfortunately the performance not matching the facility. Line ball taken poorly by Shane Bennett there. He came in late there, very late, right in front of us there, and that could save a card.
Yeah, it was a late tackle, alright. Kearney hit him hard, and
frustration does settling in.
It's frustration.
It's almost right in front of the Limerick backroom team there, and John Kiley, in fairness, just folded his arms, didn't say anything.
Yeah, John Kiley, in fairness, is a masterclass. I think he's a really class act, and he's a manager who knows how to conduct himself. And if you ever, in terms of, there's a situation where I suppose some managers would get incensed, but John Kiley, I think, to be fair to him, class act.
Yeah, he's okay, and he felt that one. Darragh O'Donovan there picked himself up gingerly.
And in fairness to Darragh O'Donovan, very sportsmanlike, shakes Shane Bennett's hands here. He got a bad bang, and I suppose a deserved yellow card for Shane Bennett, but Darragh O'Donovan, has said, very sportsmanlike. And
John Kiley likewise just stood close by. Hard thing for a manager to do, Fergal. You find that hard enough yourself now, I'd say. So line free for the Limerick man, Shane Dowling, literally standing on the sideline. He's a single handicapped golfer, and he's an ace-1 free taker inside his own 65, literally standing on the sideline. We said he'd get his name on the score sheet. Didn't think he'd get it as quick, Fergal.
Yeah, and 12 points gap now, Kieran, and obviously, look, this game is gone, but it's worrying from here. We still have probably 14 minutes of normal time plus some injury time left, so it's worrying from here, Kieran.
Ball pucked out, Peter Casey, 2-16 to 10 points. 22 points to 10, a 12-point deficit. Waterford now, this is the 8th or the 7th championship game, 8 if you take the All-Ireland in 2017. Waterford haven't won a championship
so in the league final, which is another big game on top of that, Kieran, and it's been hugely disappointing, and to be honest, Kieran, it's worrying for Waterford hurling. Waterford hurling, unfortunately for me, is not in as good a position as it was a couple of years ago, and it is worrying at the moment. There's no question we have to be seen as the weakest team in Munster.
And then we've Porky Keeve next Saturday night playing Cork, who desperately want to keep their good performance, and that good performance against Limerick on the roll, but we'll have to play out this one first. 56 minutes gone, 2-16 to 10, and Limerick just dominating in all quarters, and unfortunately from Waterford point of view, the heads have dropped. Hard to keep it going when you look up at the scoreboard, but hopefully Waterford will give it that last 15 minutes.
Yeah, and look at, Limerick have been better than us tactically today, but again, the 50-50s there, Dan Morrissey winning that 50-50, that's the one you have to win. Tactics account for about 15-20% of a game, Kieran, but the 50-50s, the basics of winning your own battle, that's the most important thing.
Dowling going long, and Dowling send it over the bar. Super score again by Shane Dowling. Disappointing, obviously, is not starting, but my God, every time he comes on, the Napiershi man makes a difference.
And there's all these Limerick players who are playing for places now. They have such a strong panel, so they're going to keep going. They're going to keep hammering that nail, let's say, until the final whistle.
So Dowling will be happy so far. His 2 Munster club, Munster and 21, Munster Minor and Senior Championship, of course, with Napiershi, All Ireland last year as well, Ireland club with Napiershi. He has done it all as well. 2-17 to 10. Can Waterford just resurrect some bit of a final burst here this afternoon in Walsh Park? Some people making their way to the exit, not a healthy sign to see at any game with only 57 minutes played. Limerick on the attack, ball worked inside. They have a look, they take their shot, and Barry Murphy sends it over the bar.
Yeah, see, that's what you're going to get now. Players like Barry Murphy with a springer step, really pushing to try and get a space for the next game, and certainly these last 12-15 minutes are going to be very worrying from a Waterford perspective.
So Barry Murphy gets his name, the Doon man gets his name on the score sheet.
Brother Dormer down there will be happy. One of his protege from Doon CBS, of course, he made such an impact in Lismore CBS back in the 80s and 90s. Now, of course, domiciled in Limerick. Plucked out of the air, well by Pádraig Mahoney. Tries to get away from his marker there, but the Limerick men, hard pull there inside by Pádraig Mahoney. Again, total frustration, I would say. Keane Lynch puts his hand around him and says, Pádraig, what's happening there? I felt that one up here.
Yeah, and in fairness, Kieran, he should have got a free as far as I can see. He won a ball. He's got a straight red, which I think is harsh. But he won a ball. In my view, he was fouled. He was tackled by 3 players, held up, couldn't even get a hand pass away, and pull out of frustration for sure. Definitely deserved a yellow. I think a red might have been harsh, but look, unfortunately, from a Waterford perspective now, that's the final nail in our coffin, and it's going to be a long last 10 minutes.
Yeah, just frustration. I feel so sorry for the lads. There's such an effort got in. Nothing is working. We don't condone that type of pull. I know Pádraig, there'd be no one more disappointed than Pádraig. His brother Philip, of course, met him before the game. He's out injured, working his way back, and so on Pádraig like, but it's total frustration. Should have got the free, and just in frustration turned and pulled, and a free for Limerick and a red card for Pádraig.
Yeah, we're down to 14 men, and Shane Dowling will probably pop this one over.
His eye is in, Galan is off, but Dowling is in.
So we have a 15-point game, Kieran, and we've got probably 10 and another 2 or 3 left, and a man down, and this is worrying.
2:19 to 10 points coming up to the 60-minute. You're listening to the live match live here on WLRFM. Limerick 2:19, Waterford 10 points. The big battle up in Ennis at 4 o'clock between Tip and Clare. But at this stage, Waterford are exiting the Munster Championship here in their own backyard, with Cork still to play next week. Limerick, Barry Murphy has already got one. Now, that one's gone left and wide. 11 wides for Limerick. They have the win. They have 10 minutes left. Another substitute in Limerick. This time it's David Reedy.
Yeah, and David Reedy's a good operator too. You know, he's got plenty of ability. We're taking off Gerard Hegarty, who I thought was excellent today, Kieran. He scored 1 goal, albeit, as I say, someone should have come to take him out of it, but created the other goal. He's been excellent today, and look, Limerick are so strong. So strong on the bench. The players are bringing on are almost every bit as good as the players are taking off.
Yeah, Garrod comes off. What a performance by the secondary teacher. Teaches in Newcastle West, and indeed, of course, his dad Ger was the great Ger Hegarty, the number 6, an all-star himself, and I'm sure that if this man keeps going at this, he'll be an all-star winner himself. The big man at number 10, he's 6'5", but not alone is he a big man, he's an athletic, he can win the ball, and very skillful for a big man.
He's very skillful for a big man. Normally associate, just brawn with that size and maybe a break ball for other players, but he has the full package, a great player.
So David Reedy gets his chance. As the scoreline now is 2:19 to 10, 25 points to 10, 15 minutes or 15 points between the sides. The stopwatch says 61 minutes, that's 9 minutes plus stoppages. Ball goes to a man who's loose. It's Shane Dowling. You don't leave Dowling loose because he'll punish you. That's exactly what he does. He's got 2 from frees, no 1 from play. But again, Fergal, he'd a lot of time.
Yeah, Kieran, it's just not good enough, that's been honest, and I hate being critical. A former player coming in here being critical of players in the pitch, but a player loose, again, of the quality of Shane Dowling on the 45, that's the 4th or 5th time in the second half. They've just picked out a player in complete isolation around the 45, and simple scores for Limerick, simple scores.
Yeah, we saw it happen with Garrod Hegarty on 1 or 2 occasions as well, and now Dowling has just come on, but of course they have the extra man, 14-man Waterford, trying to battle hard with the sending off, of course, of Pádraig Mahoney. Jack Prendergast tries to set it up, cut off inside. Darragh O'Donovan out towards the middle of the field. Dowling now, not known for his speed. This man always had trouble with keeping the weight in check, but he is skilled to burn. Scoops the ball back into the middle to the Kildimo man. That's Kyle Hayes. Kyle Hayes works the ball in to David Reedy. David Reedy has a look. Reedy takes his shot, and the eyes are in all over the place.
Again,
just on, and over the bar it goes for.
I know they worked the ball well, but again he was loose, a loose player again, and probably on our 45. And look, to be fair to Limerick, they worked the ball really well. I think they're the best team I've seen to do this, Kieran, in terms of to work and execute a game plan, to use ball, to play almost football like. They're the best I've seen to do it. Not necessarily saying they're the best players I've ever seen, but the best team I've ever seen to execute a game plan, and they're really punishing us.
15 minutes since Waterford last scored, which was a free from Pádraig Mahoney, so that tells its own story. We've 14 minutes left. I see Pat Langan making his way there. Paddy Joe, the county chairman, he'll be disappointed. I see Anthony Walsh there, the Munster PRO, Jerry Sullivan, Munster chairman. I mentioned Ned Quinn earlier. The sponsors are down under us: Tom and Maura Quilly, Pat Daly, Croke Park, Christy Cooney. So
So O'Halloran is on, Brian O'Halloran is on. The man going off was Tommy Ryan. Tried hard, but in fairness, he didn't get that ball in the second half. But in the first half, he was very industrious and always a threat when he got the ball. But that ball was very scarce. Kyle Hayes shortens the grip, and Kyle Hayes sends it wide.
Yeah, and look, Kieran All again, simple basic errors by Waterford, short pass by Conor Gleeson intercepted, and Kyle Hayes gives Grantham another opportunity. We've been lucky, they've had a good few wides in the second half, which is probably uncharacteristic of some of the players who are shooting these wides.
So the stopwatch says almost 64 minutes. The scoreboard 2:21. That's 27 points to 10. 17 points between the sides. Is there a bit of a kick in Waterford? Brian O'Halloran, the Clashmoreman, taking him on. Good play by O'Halloran. Tries to scoop the ball in, but again that extra man. There's green shirts all over the place. Waterford playing with 14 men. They were finding it hard enough to play with 15, and now they have the more difficult ones. The ball goes to Dowling there. Tried to keep it in play. He's disgusted with that because he was in space, but again Dowling was very loose there. There was no man close to him, Fergal.
Yeah, again, and look, they worked the ball around well, but he's a wing forward. Okay, the ball was on the 65, the far 65. You could argue more and shouldn't be with him, but look, he's just way too loose. And the tackling then, Kieran, every time we get possession from Limerick is ferocious. Now I don't think they play on the edge too much, but it's ferocious, and we're not getting those same tackles in when Limerick are in possession.
So really he's happy with his point. The 26-year-old, of course, played for 2 years at Kildare when he was based up in Naas, but definitely he's glad to be back in the green and white of his native Limerick. The drumming man. Now Limerick have possession, 64 and a half minutes, just over 5 minutes. The ball is with Darrow Dunham, and he's going long, but gets the ball inside to Mulcahy, offloads the ball to Keane Lynch, seemed to be off balance, but Graham Mulcahy saw Lynch coming off his shoulder, and Lynch says thank you very much. Over the bar it goes. The first score for the midfielder, but what a performance by the hurler of the year.
Yeah, it's exhibition stuff, Kieran. I mean, that's probably a score that resulted from 6 or 7 passes, and exhibition stuff. They're running through us, soccer like, and
but you've been impressed with Limerick. They are a good team, Fergal. One mustn't forget.
Yeah,
they're going to take beating this
year. They
year.
are going to take beating, no question.
And they have a panel to go with, not alone the 15, but every sub that's come on has made an impression. 65 and a half minutes. Waterford playing with that 14 men for the last 10 minutes or so, but as they win a free there, Fergal Horgan gives them the free. A lot of people making their way to the exit. See Pat Grant down there. I see John Jackson, the county treasurer, making his way in there. I must say arrangements top class. I'm sure Munster Council are happy. The crowd, I know there's restriction because of health and safety, but everyone have enjoyed the actual facility and the occasion, but unfortunately not the performance, Fergal.
Yeah, no, the performance, Kieran, unfortunately has been very disheartening from a Waterford perspective.
But as you say, from a future point of view of where Waterford are going, it's hard to make anything positive. Ball lobbed in inside to Brickwall, scoops the ball across there. Brick won that ball well, tried to hand pass it in, but Limerick come away with it there. That free taken very, very quickly. Limerick go long, 66 minutes on the clock, 2:22 on the scoreboard to 10. The ball goes long, too long, with the wind assistant. Out over the line it goes. Prunty shields it there, and the Limerick corner forward wasn't going to put Prunty out over the line, I can tell you that. The big 6'5" man. And what an impression he has made himself and Caelan Lyons, as we mentioned, 2 young men with 2 bright futures.
Yeah, and you have to take it in the context of the pressure they've been under as well, and the amount of ball that's gone in, and they're doing superbly well, to be fair. And if we were to take a positive from it, I'm sure.
Oh, Noel Connor just missed it there. The ball got inside to Mulcahy. Don't leave him loose. Was he fouled? Yes, says the referee there. And again, it just shows you what's happening at Waterford today. When your luck runs out, it has run out. Short puck out, bread and butter stuff. Stephen O'Keefe to Noel Connors. Noel just didn't get on the first attempt. Hook came up on his shoulder. Graham Mulcahy, and the man who scored that blistering goal last year in the All-Ireland final, and knows how to take a penalty as well, but I'm sure to Shane Dowling will take this one. But really disappointment from a Noel's point of view. Just bread and butter stuff. Didn't get in the first attempt, and no better man than Mulcahy to capitalise.
Yeah, and look, lucky it's not a penalty. It looked like it was on very much on the line there, and Noel dragged him down. And
so bit of a break there.
Bit of a break there. It's not a penalty. So
it's the man taking it is Shane Dowling. Gillan might have gone off, but there's no better man with a 20-metre free. But probably he'll tap it over when he looks up at the scoreboard, which is to his left. He's hitting in to the town goal. He bends, he lifts, he strikes, he sends it over the bar, over the net, and halfway down. Mayor's Walk, I'd say at this stage has gone down to, but he made no mistake. Over the bar it goes, but really it's just playing out the clock.
Yeah, just playing out the clock now, and the best we can do is hope that there's no more misery, no more pain, and there's no more scores, and hopefully that final whistle will come as quickly as it possibly can, because there's nothing else we can hope for at the moment. Here, there's Graham Mulcahy coming off to a huge applause from the Limerick crowd.
So Pat Ryan, the man from Doon, under 21 in 2015, brother Michael and Liam, they also played for Limerick
He scored a goal against Cork in the semi-final last year, so he knows where the goal is as well. So the Hollow have the good starting 15s we mentioned earlier. They have that good panel. They're All-Ireland champions and they're determined to hang on to the cup. JP McManus's chopper is up in Mount Signed. I'm sure he'll wait till the final whistle and wait till well after the game before we see the chopper leave Walsh Park. Limerick on the attack. They haven't given up. 2:23-10. Connors there just slips to the ground. Ball falls to that man again. Dowling over the shoulder it goes, but that's right and that's wide. Number 13 for them. Unlucky for some, but not for Limerick. It's 13 wide. 2:23-10.
Yeah, and we've rode our luck a little bit, I think, in the second half. Despite the scoreline, we obviously we're down by 19 points now, but they've had a lot of wides in the second half. Ones that you'd expect Limerick players, the likes of Shane Dowling to put
Noel Connors comes ashore there. He'd be disappointed there, especially what happened there. But as captain, he'll be disappointed. Shane McNulty, as always, Noel will give you everything, but McNulty comes on. He'll be disappointed having been dropped for the last day, but he's getting his run now as we enter the dying minutes. Noel makes his way up the steps to team captain. 2:23-10. That's 29-10. Of course, 30 points was the score Tip put on us. Is there going to be another 30 here? Was there a foul? No play on, says it free. They're on the attack. Prunty picks it up. Will he go long? Hand passes himself to McNulty. He's just come on. He's fresh. He might take it for a run. Tries to give it the ball way across there. There's Calum Lyons, but he fails to hold on to it. Brick Walsh is tracking back, but the ball breaks as far as Paddy O'Loughlin in the middle of the field. 2:23-10. 70 minutes is up. Now we're into injury time. They're going long. They take their shot, and it's gone over the bar. All too easy from their own half. And over the bar it goes, Fergal.
Yeah, 20 points now, Kieran. There's very little can be said. It's been hugely frustrating, hugely disappointing. There's I say it's disheartening and it's worrying from more for perspective, from more for hurling perspective, Kieran. I have to say it's worrying times. We've shipped 2 heavy defeats in a row, and the Clare game, the first game here, albeit we're only beaten by a point. It was a relatively mediocre performance, so I think it's worrying times.
2:24-10, so that's 30 points to 10. 20 point defeat it looks like here. People making their way to the exit. Referee, there's 3 minutes of additional time. 3 too many, I'm sure, as some of the Waterford supporters are saying, because Justin didn't happen was in the second half, and then the sending off, the nail in the coffin really was the sending off of Pádraig Mahoney. But the game was well and truly over at that stage, but whatever chance we had of coming back, it was literally buried then. Of course, the goals in the second half were the killers. That's that brilliant goal by Garrod Hagerty, the start of the second half. And 38 minutes, he made a run, buried in the net, and now we're playing out time. 71 minutes, 2:24-10. Madness are playing in the city tonight, but a bit of madness today as far as Waterford are concerned, because it's just not happening and people are very disappointed. Waterford are a good hurling county, but unfortunately Limerick making it all too easy as Paddy O'Loughlin goes long, but that one is gone left and wide. 14 wide.
Yeah, another let off 14. I'm not sure how many of those were in the second half, but certainly a good number of them are, Kieran.
There's only 5 in the first.
Only 5, yeah, so 9 second half wide. So let off for Waterford, because this scoreline could actually be worse.
So puck out down our right. Stephen O'Keefe, based in Dublin. Again, huge commitment for club and county. Making it down from Baggot Street in Dublin, not easy, but he's committed. We're disappointed up here. We can't imagine how disappointed this panel of players and management are. They've put in the long hours. They've put in the long hours during the winter on the dirty nights, but just not happened from when they really needed to happen. Limerick on the attack. Peter Casey looking for his third point. Has a look, takes his shot. Oh, that's left and wide. Wide number 15 for Limerick. We should hear the final whistle very, very shortly. Fergal Horgan looking at the watch. We'll hear it very shortly. 72.5 minutes. Stephen O'Keefe, will he go short with this, or will he go long? Noel Brown there, the photographer there down under us, getting the shots as always. Sportsfile here as well. Info are here, RTE are here, but everyone here. But unfortunately for some of the players, they'd prefer if they weren't here. Ball over on the far side. Calum Lyons, one of the brighter sparks this afternoon. He's that, Sean, he'll be happy with that. Ball in the middle of the field. Jack Prendergast, again one of our younger men, to Brian O'Halloran. Shortens the grip, tries to send it inside towards Bennett. Can Bennett get into his hand? There are 3 green jerseys around him, not making it easy for him. Ball goes out to Shane Dowling. He's back helping in defence. Referee blows his whistle. It's all over. It's all over. And Limerick are back on track again. Following defeat against Cork, they get the win they needed, but they didn't think they'd get it as easy. Fergal. 2:24-10. Limerick get their scores on the board for Waterford. It's only shaving blusses next Saturday night against Cork.
Yeah, absolutely ruthless performance by Limerick, and we've said in the times gone by that Walsh Park is a difficult place to come, but they came down here full of intent. They're all Ireland champions. They didn't become a bad team in one game a couple of weeks ago against Cork. They really are a superbly drilled outfit in terms of, you can see the Paul Kinnerk all over that team in terms of, I suppose, their execution of a game plan. I did say before that I think that Kilkenny 4-in-a-row team are the best team I've ever seen, Kieran, but I think this Limerick team are the best team I've ever seen to actually execute a game plan. They know exactly what they're doing. Every time they get in the ball, they know exactly how to do it. They know how to play the short game, they know how to create space, use that space, and then they're absolutely clinical and ruthless when they have their chance. But a super performance by Limerick, but you'd have to say a hugely disappointing performance by Waterford, and a hugely disappointing season after the National League going reasonably well for us. A great performance against Clare in the quarter-final, a very good performance against Galway. Getting to a league final under new management, under a new system, was for hugely encouraging, but the championship so far, we're out. The championship has been a disaster. That's no other words to describe it.
As I mentioned earlier, as bad as we feel, and indeed the supporters feel, the players and management, Fergal, with Ballygunner and as a former county player, the effort and time these are given, and these guys will feel sick in their stomach the way things have turned out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've put in, they're back since last October. They've put in a huge shift, a huge graft. They've worked hard all year. It's hugely disappointing for a team when you put in so much effort. And I've been there myself. I've been on the receiving ends of results like this, and it really does. It's such a hollow feeling, and it leaves you questioning everything. The amount you mentioned Stephen O'Keefe coming from Dublin during the week. I mean, that leaves you questioning everything.
The effort and time and powering is better than me. We're joined now from 96 FM by Finbar McCarthy and our own Waterford man from Ardmore, Oisin Langan, of course, based in Dublin. Oisin, huge disappointment for everybody today.
Sickening, and it's really hard on the players, and I feel empathy for them because all the focus is going to be on them, all the focus is going to be on the management. Something has gone wrong. It's obvious. That's 3 games in which we had utter system failures, and that's all you can say, and that's just calling it honestly. That's not trying to be in any way sensationalist about it. Now, was that done on purpose? Of course it wasn't. Did they put in the work? Yeah, of course they did, but something went wrong somewhere. I'm not quite sure what. I'm not sure it's any one thing. It's a number of things. I just hope that the time and the space is given to breathe, to talk about it, to investigate it, to not react angrily, to not go over the top on these guys who are working full-time, who are trying to get on with their lives and also doing this, which is a full-time commitment, and they know the eyes of the world is on them, and it's hard to exist in that window where you're carrying the hopes and dreams of a county, and if you don't pull through on that and you don't come through on that, people start maybe sniping. I really hope that doesn't happen. We need to be logical, we need to be calm, we need to assess it, and that's what we have to do now. But look, it's just devastating right now, and there's nothing you can say that will make anyone feel any better.
Finbar McCarthy, you felt at half time that Limerick just were that better team in the first half. We started well, the goal was the killer blow, but my God, we saw Limerick really powering away in the second half.
Yeah, I also felt coming up here, Kieran, that I gave Waterford a good chance today based on the fact that we were playing at home. There was such I don't like using the word, there was such a fuss over not playing at home last year that to get 2 home games this year, not to win them, wouldn't reflect on them. But at half time it was done and dusted, and really the fact that they didn't score since the 48th minute?
48 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that's nearly 28 minutes without a score in a championship match. Limerick was just doing it they pleased for most of the second half, and this is my first time seeing Waterford play this year. That's 2 bad beatings in a row now.
But you were a fan of Waterford over the past
2
years.
Listen.
You saw these players, you saw how well these players can play at minor and 21 and lead senior for the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, they came very close to winning All Ireland. What's that, 2 years ago against Galway, and beat Cork in the semi-final. Had a great Munster campaign. I obviously, you guys are closer to the scene than me, and you know what's going on. There's been all sorts of rumours, but when you lose matches, you hear all sorts of rumours. There was fierce rumours after Cork lost to Tipperary the first day, and they're gone when you win the second day. But obviously, you know more than me what's going on there. But certainly, that's as bad a Waterford performance as I've seen in a long time, and it gives me no pleasure to say that.
Cork next Saturday night. Waterford at Cork in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Obviously Cork on a high after beating Limerick, and this only compounds that. So that's going to be a difficult one for Waterford to regroup. But as you said last year, we had a similar situation. We came up to Thurles and put up with some performance, but it was only a dead rubber from Waterford perspective.
Yeah, I think it's a very dangerous match for Cork now next Saturday night, because I don't expect there'll be too many Waterford people travel, and there will be kind of a lack of atmosphere on the ground. And unless Cork are focused, and I hope they are, and I assume they will be, Waterford come out and play next Saturday night with nothing at all got to lose. Play with abandon part of the point, the systems, and throw off the shackles, because they are good hurlers, very good hurlers. Now, Pádraig O'Mahony will be a loss on the back of the straight red card. I still think Cork will win, but unless they're focused, it's very dangerous 70 minutes.
Finbar, thanks a million for dropping in. Look forward to see you Saturday night. Cheers. Oisín, final word with you. We mentioned beforehand the arrangements, the pitch, the positivity before the game was fantastic. Everyone was proud of what we had, and just didn't happen on the field of play.
No, it didn't, and I'm not entirely sure why. And I know we're looking at Cork next week, but like if you look at the season last year, we had some positives in our performances going into the last game against Cork, and it suggested that we could kick on. Those positives just haven't been there this year. Regards the pitch, regards the venue, everything was done right. The thing is the home venue thing is not just about this year. That's about forevermore. So we need to build on that. That's still a positive, Kieran. It really is. And had the game been 2 minutes longer against Clare, we might have won that, and it might have been a very different conversation. But today we were just beating all ends up. Limerick were by far the better team, and we just were not at it, which is unfortunate. And again, it wasn't done on purpose by anyone. I just hope that whatever has gone wrong, we can get it right, because you see it's a slippery slope.
Oisín Langan, thanks a million for your contribution. Final word to you, Fergal.
Yeah, Kieran, as I said, hugely disappointing day, but I agree with Oisín. It's a time for reflection now, mature reflection, but we need to review, we need to see where we're at. For me, Kieran, it's hugely worrying where we're at as a county in terms of hurling. We're a proud hurling county, and as Oisín said, it's potentially a slippery slope. It can't be allowed to continue as it's continuing. I know next Sunday, our Saturday night means nothing at this stage. You'd only hope that the boys will go out and play with pride, which I'm sure they will, but we need to sit back down in time then and reflect and review and see what can be done to change this, because look, this championship season, as I say, I can only think of a word as disastrous. It has been so poor. All those players went out with the best of intentions, 100%. All those players have put in 100% commitment, no question about that, but for Waterford hurling people and for the players themselves, for everybody who's put in such an effort, that we cannot continue in this vein. We just simply cannot continue in this vein.
Fergal, thanks a million for your contribution. As always, great to have you live here on WLRFM from Tyrone Power and Sound, and from Tomás McCarthy, who carried the minor updates for us, and from all of us here, from all our guests we had this throughout the afternoon, from a disappointing afternoon for Waterford hurling, with a final scoreline: Limerick 2-24, Waterford 10 points. It's back to you in studio.
The Big Match on WLR
with George Corbett Skoda.